one game away from qualifying to the major out there in Paris, and they lost to Apex in the 2-2 game. If that goes differently, we could possibly see Amster and Owner still in the roster, probably still see Wrinkle here with some of the successes that could have bounced off from there. But we always feel in organization history, the what-if moments can sometimes have ramifications. And now we get a fairly new-looking Bait roster, a team that even towards the tail end of last year wasn't playing that frequently on HLTV.
Yeah, I mean, the time after the RMR was very sort of, I guess hit and miss is the right term for it. There wasn't really a whole lot of success outside of a couple of open qualifier runs. Coming into this year, perhaps stock was at an all-time low in the Bait side. Now, here they are with a renewed look and a renewed lease on life, contesting some of the top-end teams within the Tier 2 space. Still not playing with the permanent 5-man unit, but still doing fantastic stuff with it, so I don't think there's any need to complain about it.
I mean, I would say that if SDY doesn't get an opportunity in the player break, then he could very well find his way onto Bait.
It's a strong possibility. We'll speculate on that another day. Because for now, Bait are happy with the position that they're in, and if they can take away the victory from Bleed here in this best of 3, then again, they'll go to the playoffs as the first place team in this group. The Eagles looking to fight as they have to take about the upgrade pistol eco. Nice HE on Ascenthiel.
Farfan out from long has got him and Cypher to work together on this one. They've seen a couple of players, one up onto the booze. It's an easy clean up against the eco pistols.
As to be expected, M4s will continue taking fight. As you mentioned, the key objective was always going to be to get these AKs out of their hands, and actually they do recover one of them. Farfan down and out, need those M4s to start swinging forward to position. Ascenthiel eventually gets overwhelmed, and Alex is known towards the B doors. So Sark fights him. Cypher will come in with extra support. A little bit awkward on that AK. Deagle doesn't quite get the full fight back, however, so all 3 of those weapons should stay in for them. Actually, no, they do lose the one of it, so at least successful in a small regard for Bait.
The Bleeds now try and keep themselves on a position of, can they continue the streak and can they continue the rounds of the lack of plants? Because if you start getting into that notion, that's when you're expecting the 8-4, the 9-3 kind of score lines.
We saw the CT side take off from Bleed at one point and never let go of momentum from there in that last head-to-head on Ancient. They found their initial 3. Will it be more? Cirque certainly wants to make it so. Alex caught up top mid to start. Meanwhile, walk up from ramp. Farman's just evaded contact. Seeing Ascenthiel. Ascenthiel catches him. Cypher unawares the MPL is so close. Overwhelming advantage taken now. They've got to back off and save.
A really good round there from Bait. And the aspect that's got to be on the minds from Bleed, we've been talking about it earlier, if they lose this game and go into the decider and place second in the group, they're going to go up against the team that places first in Group D, which is either Nemega or Mausen XT. So we could see the rematch of the grand final in a quarterfinal matchup, and we can also see the rematch of the winners game where it was actually quite close. Mausen XT probably could have 2-0'd that series. So if you are Bleed, and you get Mausen XT or Nemega in your opening game, that's not going to be an easy draw. You have to try and win this series now to not be in that position.
When the first quarter, it's evened up. No clear and defined winners as of yet. They able to respond to Bleed, and their opening 3 rounds of the CT side are cut down before the streak extends any further. The save had to get called in early, and Bleed recognize they need a bit more confidence on their defensive, so tactical has been called in early the same. Just like Bait did when they were on the back foot.
And nice to see some three-mapper affairs. Day one of the tournament only featured a single game that went all three maps, which was the Bait versus Alliance matchup. At day two, it was only the Sinners and Zero Tenacity that went three maps. And today, we've had basically all series outside of the 9 Pandas and the Gaming Gladiators one. Competitive affairs, getting teams into the playoff, getting promotion matches.
I'm going to count that one as a three-map affair for the 25 and 22 photo that we saw at the start of the day.
Maybe.
Oh, Bates facing in against Bleed's first contact. Smokes down to suppress them over at Cave. The damage done to Cypher is minimal. MPL, similar story, but also pretty chunky at the same time. Might affect the next fight if Cypher can catch him. He's leaning ahead of those smokes. He'll start to clear. B doors is covered off. Damage was done to Farven on, I believe, a quick fight from that B door area. Cypher's gone undetected, though.
And the issue is that Farfen can't really stay aggressively with him just because of the HP differential. They'll rotate Hampus over, have him watching Cave when both of the other B players can maintain the doors and the lane position. Very silent. Not much of an opening contact in round 7.
Bait realize something's up, though. They're rotating the bomb away. And slowly but surely they'll start to creep back into the A attack. Molotov sent out towards mid to indicate rotation. Rooms flashbang misses, but Cirque does similar stories. Land on Alex does not get a connection of the collateral. Captain Kirker gets his back in the center of the bomb site. Ascenthiel flanks back. Hampers has rotated quick to fight on one, but only one. 3 on 2 again for Bait as they have complete control of A.
Yeah, all defenders getting overwhelmed without a multi-frag. 1 kill for Cirque, 1 for Hampus, nothing for Vladin.
Low HP onto Captain Kirker, but Farben, a similar story. It's Cypher that gets MPL. Head trick goes down. Suddenly, this round is very doable, but now all 3 players are tagged. 1 on 2 for Captain Kirker. Cypher caught first, Farben known about. And they feed him the 1v1s. They feed Bait the lead.
Just no information, and the issue is you're working with hardly any utility. If you had a smoke, you may be able to put the smoke onto the bomb, draw that fight out in the open, but with the bomb being ticked as far as it was, you've just kind of got to come out quickly. Bait have been really successful in clutch situations. They've been so strong in 1vx's.
Bait now in the lead here on the last map of the series. Cirque still ready to take first contact. A shot to another tag, not the full-blown kill on first bullet accuracy. Smoke's forced to come down to suppress elbow. NPL taking damage elsewhere. Cirque will start to lean in over at Shelf. His teammate Hampus will be tasked with protecting him, but takes the point-blank angle. And Bait are aware that there might be a press.
And once this smoke starts to clear, Cirque should widen up the angle and look further down from lane and really force this fight.
Small press shots on Ascenthiel. Caught dead. Cirque with the start.
Cypher jiggling down from a ramp walk. We've seen it previously from Bait where they've legitimately just contacted up ramp.
Continue to walk, head trick. Doesn't get the shot on Cypher. Double dink for the M4. 5 on 3 now. Bleed. Take it slow, take it careful. Bait do the exact same thing, but come out much worse for it. No trades available, but you still got players like Captain Kirker down such low HP on the Bait squad.
And this would be surprising if they can get a bomb down here. This is such an unfavorable position for Bait.
Smokes up. Rotation's called now. 4 players total to defend this bomb site. 15 seconds for the bomb to get planted on it. Walking up ramp, Molotov's onto the back of the plant position anyway. Vladin through the smoke gets Captain Kirker. Bomb recovered again. Alex will try for the plant when he gets denied. It's attention drawn by NPL who gets 1 trade together. But it's a 2v4 in the post plant.
A backstab in from Cave. All about timing. NPL's watching out for it.
Taking it slow. Playing careful. NPL, attention drawn, isolating Vladin, but Hampus peeks in from Cave off the back of that. Lane contested by Alex. Did they hear that footstep? I think they might have done. Cypher, Cirque, leaning in, Diffuse held all the way to the 5-second stick and covered off by his teammates in the backside. Bleed go to evens again.
And Bleed play the fundamentals to a really good level. Even on that retake at the 4v2, notice how it's not Hampus to take first contact. What he wants is the players on the bomb side to draw that 1v1, because MPL, there's just no chance that he gets 2 kills there. He has to fight, what, a 90-degree flick from the bomb side directly to the cave entrance? Just never going to happen. Easy kill for Hampus. And then right there, get onto the bomb, and you've got 2 riflers that are maintaining and jiggling ramp.
Blow for blow so far. Streaks answered back to. Both sides evened up. We enter the closing stages of the first half. Who's going to get that advantage? Who's going to hit 6 first? And if they can do, who's going to go ahead and extend it? Head trick. NWP first and foremost in the CT side are careful to their position. The HEs are very nice and chunky on center of mass. Berserk is first to fall. Cypher only gets the 1 pick. Farven's forced to trade it back with his spray. Tag up on the orb. Unable to turn the clock on Farven. Bomb dropped on B site. Alex, 1v3 on A.
I really wonder what the tell was there. What's the readability from Bleed? Because that was a complete stacked up site. You had Hampus aggressively in Cheetah and 3 players on B. So no mid defender. Vladden has to kind of deal with Donut and A main. For Bait, they look at that round and just say, how? How is there so many players on B? How are we running into such a heavy trap early into the rounds?
Well, whatever the reason is, they're going to have to deal with it. Farven has just spotted Alex. Now they can adjust. Galil facing into position, smoked off. The AWP starts firing against. Alex knows that he's a goner here. HE's against him, won't do that much damage. Doesn't even look the right way. Thinking there might have been one of the smoke in the end. Vladden gets his piece of the pie. And Bleed get 5.
Quite a statement there, because that was a key round for Bait to either win or at least get a bomb plant bonus to allow a hefty investment on the eco of maybe some Tech 9s, some Deagles, a couple of pieces of util. They really shouldn't invest in much at all now.
They should allow Bleed to edge Bait out to the 6th. And again, insert themselves on the CT basis now to try and go to the 8-4 half if possible. That is the target. That is the goal. Bait. Careful to the uptake. At least want to try their hands at something, but the best they're going to get out of this is a bomb plant.
And maybe the concern, too, is the lack of individual prowess from Alex. Really good in the best of 3 so far. Very strong in the previous rest tournament and in the last head-to-head. Coming down to round 10, and we're yet to see him strike.
Decent bait attempts from the teams, but ultimately fruitless with the pistols. Crossfire locked. Alex was the last man to fall, and maybe his insertion into this match will be the basement raiser for the Bait camp. One of the many AKs they have for round number 11, and a must-win round to try and even up the scoreboard at the turn of the half. Bleed, understanding of that, have their 2 AKs, have their AWP and their M4s, and have enough cash to rebuy in the next round if necessary. Hopefully for them it won't be. Bait. Forward onto door.
Early molly out there to Xbox and Shelf to disallow any CT aggression in from mid. Almost no territory can be gained from Bait. So much anti-rush.
Cypher was going to flash his way forward, but in the end opted against it. Counter smokes back down against the Molotovs. Farven starts leaning. Cypher's taps eventually getting NPL. Head trick spotted and sprayed, but gets away with a casualty to return back. Farven down.
Cypher might try and spam some more out there from Cave. Cirque with the NWP waiting for a Sentinel. What? I don't even know how that's a kill.
Neither do I. Captain Kirk has fall down to Vlad, meanwhile over on the A-bomb site, but realizing he's exposed with no mid defensive, has got to back off towards spawn. Play passive on this A defense.
This really has been the best performance for Essential. No denial. So many key rounds, so many great individual moments. And that one kill may just give him leverage to get back into the A side, but Vladin denies deep in CT.
Hell of a shot. Smokes down from range, head trick trying to get out of the way as Hampus gets a Senthio. It's a 1-on-3 now for head trick. Plant tapped once, CT swarming the positions of the entries. Hampus spotted, isolated for that first pick, but there's another man at Donut. There's one coming in from Temple. They'll allow that bomb to get planted. Cypher playing this careful as head trick gets caught with his back turned, and Bleed will have the half.
And I said it, Jay, in the pre-game when we saw the veto on screen that I thought that Bait made a mistake with this veto. I would have much preferred to have seen Dust2 floated and not banned out Anubis. I think they could have got themselves, or not banned out Dust2 and allowed Anubis as that decider. With how much closer Anubis was last time around, with just where the Ancient sits in the pool for Bait, when you make a decision like that, when you allow Ancient to float through, you've got to see more. And unfortunately for Bait, they've won Pistol, they've won Anti-Eco, and they've only won 2 more rounds. They are once more at a massive back foot.
I'm starting to agree with you on that front. Considering the options they might have had, considering the wider context of what they could have done. The idea of that wild card being used and attempted to take in the veto process, that would have been possibilities at least available for the Bait side.
I would have been so surprised if Dust2 did not get banned there from Bait that Bleed actually let it through. I think they allow it to go to Anubis at the tail ends.
Jump face of Hampus, spotting them down mid on Ancients. HEs go deep, not to open up the smokes. They still take some tag damage, and another HE that will catch him to less than half. Vladin facing in on a Sentinel, hearing footsteps out towards Donut. He's got to defend this main controller. Galil fought upon spray through, casualty taken, man advantage held by Bleed, but the bomb site is not.
Gapping that smoke out from CT. Hampus trying to see if he can work a timing. Vladin, he's going to get pressed from A-main, but he's ready for it. 2
players are facing him, so he's pulling all his attention back. Fight the fight on MPL, but can't get Captain Kirk. A head trick can get farther, and Hampus responds. 3-on-2. Smoke down, does hit the boxes, go down to the bomb site as Alex gets caught off. Captain Kirk going 1-on-3. He's got Hampus first and foremost. Cypher, low HP out towards Donut. Another fight taken. Cirque, however, is just that little bit better. 8-4 for Bleed to close the half.
And that's where potentially, Jay, having the uptake of 1vx's is that it's so difficult to make it happen consistently. You can have a map, you can sometimes even have a couple of halves where you do extremely well in 1vx situations, but to do it consistently across an entire best of 3, it's never easy. And Bait this time around have not delivered in the clutches like they have in the previous couple of maps. Even that smoke, it probably should have costed them. And that is an awful smoke to the bomb. Just comes down to Cirque to deliver.
And into this second half, the odds at 1xBet swing heavily in favor of Bleed once again. Getting echoes to that semi-final matchup. The 7-5 half that Bleed were able to gain turned into an 8-4 in this occasion, and they went flawless on that T side. Bait's key objective is to deny that from being the case. And it might just have to be in a pistol win to avoid such. Bleed came into their own, and at the end of that CT side, the Ukrainian squad may be in trouble. That last best of 3, that Ancient particularly, may be weighing heavily on their minds at this juncture.
Well, I'll put it this way. If we go to a Bleed convincing result in the second half, and there is a rematch between these two teams in the playoffs, there's no way Ancient's getting floated again. There's just no way that they allow that as a third map decider. Bait have not learnt their lesson from the first time around, which is only not that long, only a few days, really. But right here, it has been disappointing. Essentials had some good rounds, but they haven't led to many round victories. 2 on A to start the round. Very aggressive out from mid from Bleeds.
Wild access towards Donut. Captain Kirk and MPL here in the footsteps, need to get those headshots in. Barber's got with U2 in hand, but MPL's overwhelmed with his Julies. Captain Kirk with one pick, only one pick. Cirque gets him back and swings straight onto Headtrick. Headshot goes him down, 4 versus 2. And Alex, the next victim to Cirque's monstrous rampage here on the pistol round. A triple found. Essential. All he can do is fight back in vain. Hampus will steal the last away from his Bulgarian brutes, and the pistol will go the way of Bleed.
And an aspect that really excites me with this Bleed project, Jay, is there is no weak performers at all on the team. You've got a very solid anchor in Vladen, a strong fragging in-game leader of Hampus, and Orpa that's now, in the last handful of weeks, starting to find some really good form. And then we know that Cypher and Farfen are strong riflers in their own regard. So all it is really for Bleed to make that next level is probably experience as a team and time. But the foundations are here. You can see it easily.
Bleed continue to pressure Bates. Four spy involved for round 14. Because at this point, the CT side just need to find a returning steal to keep themselves alive in this. We're looking down the barrel of an 11-4 if they cannot get round 14 under control. Farben does get caught by the 5-7, but only for damage. Alex makes his way around the corner. The plant is just about secured as Vladen protects his teammate. Farben is such low HP, though, that a stray bullet will catch him. 3-on-3 for the retake.
Vladen's just sitting in the short smoke, but his teammates are very far away, and the spam actually has not connected to him.
They were millimeters off, but Vladen still holds his nerve. Ahead of the smoke, the body block's been heard now. They understand what's going on. They'll tap that bomb once, but they call their bluff. They know that he can't have a kit, not with the money being where it is, and Cirque will catch the outskirts. Pistol of MPL finally gets Vladen a drop, but he will not drop Cirque the same. 10 to the border, Bleed, 4 spy, goes awry for Bates.
And I just remember back to that last head-to-head between these two teams. Cirque was the one that was out-fragging everyone. Map 1, Map 2, and Map 3, he had a really good showing. Now, I would say out here on Inferno and Mirage, he's had an okay game so far, but nothing crazy. Out here on Ancient, he's delivering some sick moments. He is 17-5.
And that's the Cirque we love to see. If you're Bait, what do you do to counteract that other than force back into round 15 and pray for a miracle, pray for a mistake or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 from Bleed, and that you can punish every single one of them and set up for the 6th round comeback that they need to make happen. Hampus catches first casualty. Captain Kirka does clap back. Essential now, essential kill that he needs. Alex continuing to fight. Actually, they do get away with that one pick, but Alex is caught in the backlines. Farven seeing Headtrick as well. Info on 2 players. Third man in mid gets caught off by Vladen, so back to a man advantage. 2 versus 2 with Headtrick's responsive. Cirque goes falling the same. These rounds are getting expensive for Bleed, but the final kill will still look to seal it for Vladen and his 2K. 11 on the board of the T side.
And the similarities to the last Ancient are just so close to one another. Bleed were able to win 12 rounds in a row to take the end of that series, to take that final map decider. Out here this time, they've been able to win 8 rounds in a row. And fundamentally, if you are Bait, you've got to come to a recognition that something is seriously wrong. No team should lose 12 rounds in a row on Ancient and then 8 rounds on Ancient a few days later. That can't happen.
But it's happening now. The Bait squad look like they have run out of fuel. Headtrick the M4 involved in this round on the A-bomb site where the T's are pointing out towards Cypher, fighting onto Captain Kirker. Hetry gets involved with a double up, can't quite make it a triple as Vladen trades, almost gets the kill onto Alex, half HP for him, but Hampus now in a 1-on-3, and it looks like maybe there's a second win in the CT side now.
Yeah, Hampus has basically got no chance of this 1v3 now being re-smoked off, but even Bait, that setup was super gimmicky. You've got two players on A that are almost initiating and hoping that there's a contact. Hug from the donut position, hug from backside are just being drawn into the trap.
.40 seconds on the clock. Hampus just here to hold his nerve and hold his position and try to even get an exit or two at best. Bait. Maintain survival with this round win. It's the one thing they need the most right now. But it's still a very long way back from here.
And I expect a bit of a B-pop here from Bleed. They're double eco territory, so they'll have to buy up, and it's going to be very weak. It's going to be 10-9 armor and a little bit of util. So they'll probably need pace.
Force back. Lead. Hero AK on Hampus, upgrade pistols on everyone else. Worked these kind of rounds before. Will this be one of them that steals it back from Bait and really puts the hurt on them? Not just in terms of the scoreline and the economy state, but also in terms of just sheer levels of confidence.
Hampus' timing needs to be everything. He needs to get an entry straight away.
Flash allowing him to boost. He's killed off by Alex, so no timing available for that AK. It falls into the hands of Cypher.
It probably has to be a bit of a cancel now. Work their way up to lane. MPL and an off angle from Shelf.
Cypher better be ready for this. Ooh, pixels away. Vladen seen as his Farven kill found. Second man known about. Cypher takes the fight against a Senthiel who wins it out, and the CT starts swarming the lane position. So gets that one pick back. MPL good to remove him. The Senthiel holds the trade, and I think they'll keep the majority of those key rifles in. The AK's on 2. They had 3, but Bait, it's just survival for now. It's round by round, piece by piece, building back into this matchup. And Bleed will have no money for a rebuy.
The concern that I do have is this is the exact same scoreline of Inferno, 11-6, and that went all the way to a position where it probably shouldn't have gone. An overtime, not a 2-0. Bleeds need to close this game out. They cannot afford to allow Bait back in.
Well, they're stacked up together, and this will not be the round that does close it out. Only pistols versus the CT side. Cypher and Cirque boosted up to try and find Overwatch in a high ground position. Several players will shove their way in towards Captain Kirker's angle. They will overwhelm and try to then get the bomb plant down. Farven certainly is prioritizing it. Hampus forced on the reload, but Headtrick hearing those sound cues is obviously ordered towards the bigger threat and the more immediate threat. So bomb plant gained, that's the positive eco.
That's not bad there, and it actually allows Cirque to get the NWP body armor if he wants it. Get him maybe boosted up on the big box, get him to work out from elbow. They don't want it though, they want the AK. Bleeds have been all over Bait in this last map decider. Hasn't even really felt like much of a challenge.
Well, Bait have drawn back the differentials. 3 on the trot to start the half, 3 on the trot to bring it back from Bait. Now they've got to get involved with the rifle rounds. Flashbangs time so well against NPL. Captain Kirker involved in the opener against Cypher. And somehow NPL still got 63 points of health. I don't know exactly how. Next contact comes in from the hundos of Alex and a Senthiel. A Senthiel edge of the smoke, facing the second. Farven forced to double up. He can't quite get the job done. 3 on 2 for Bait.
Farven trying to get some pace in there towards Cave, but doesn't realize there's another B player. 3 on B in that round from Bait.
Vladen making his way up to the A bomb site. Trying to prioritize that bomb plant, another cash injection for Bleed, but the 1-on-3 now set the retake advantage for Bates. Vladin caught looking the wrong way at the wrong time. NPL keeps the CT side in the game, slowly but surely trying to grind back. How long until Bleed start getting those flashbacks to map 2? 3 to the good.
And for Bait, it's a scenario there where they miss the bottom door smoke, but still aggress anyway. And actually, the T-side are ready for it. They've got many players pre-aiming the bottom ramp. Farfan's made the correct call. Normally, if there's ramp aggression, that tells you that there is a huge space opportunity in cave. So you just try and run it in, you try and cut the ramp players getting back up to the bomb side. You just don't expect the AWP to be there at all. That was a really good trick from the AWP to actually show no presence of him on B.
AK involved the Cypher, saw that first player in the smoke. Spam down against Captain Kirk, he's low HP. NPL opens up the kill counts. Hampers and Farvan respond back immediately. Man advantage for Bleed, and A looks to be quickly targeted.
Now start pressurizing Donut straight away. Now there's a backstab out towards Shelf. Farfan caught in the open trying to re-smoke Reds.
Even stance as a result. Vladin considering pressing on to try to get the trades together. AK of Hamper spots Essential. Hasn't seen Hedrick. I think he might have caught his shoulder. Advantage negated back on the base side, but Hedrick is just too good for this. Alex's spray lines up so much damage. And the AWP unknown. Vladin's gonna have to escape. The HG's come down against them. They're gonna back off. It just barely scrapes them. Can't quite get a full-blown kills, but the USP can. Cirque down. Vladin alone. But where is he? Hedrick has no info. He's just aware that both the players that were out there and his contacted a teammate. He doesn't understand that Vladin's still holding and lurking. He's backed off.
And there is so much time here that Vladin can walk B stairs. He could also walk towards A main. He could also come back out to mid to elbow. It is a proper lack of info for Hetrick.
30 seconds for Vladin to plant the bomb. He's moving, inserting into mid. Has to rotate B, though. He can't afford to take a head-on collision against Hedrick. He's got to pick up the pace as well.
Hedrick's got decent nades. Even though it's a 1v1, he's got an incendiary and a smoke that could be a defining factor. Now, Vladin's been able to pick up some util as well.
Molly sent deep. Trying to stop Hedrick from making his way in. Smoke will come down immediately. Plant down, backlines incendiary. That gets in. Vladin can't put a smoke down in time. Hedrick, a triple for him, winning the clutch. Bait clawing their way back into this series desperately, slowly, but patiently against Bleed. The streak continues.
And it is a bit of a choke there from Bleed. That's the round to win. You've got an opening couple of kills in through mids. Farfan gets caught off guard by timing, even out there towards Shelf. It's one of those moments where frustration is at an all-time high, because this game should have been done. This game should have been closed over in 2. It should have now been a 2-1 series, and we're still playing out. Bait have actually got a pretty good chance of winning this. And 2 rounds to the difference. Momentum's going to be high. They're going to be feeling hyped. They'll look at this as a much better performance than what they've done last time around. And the round streak, at least for their sake, has not allowed Bleed, at the very least, to get to series point just yet.
5 in a row for Bait. Bleed working down the money state. This could go 2 different ways. It could go the way it was the Mirage, the returning rounds from Bait eventually punished on a reset, or it could go the way of Inferno. The comeback successful for the Bait side, and in this occasion, the series win for them as well. The revenge of the semi-finals happening in the group stage. The lead still exists for Bleed, but only by a margin of 2. The gap is well and truly closed. Bait play patient, because they still have to equalize.
The 8 in a row from Bleed is now being returned by the 5 in a row from Bait. Whose round streak is going to win them the game? Whose round streak is going to be further than one another? Elbow with 3, 2 from Shelf. Mid is the target.
Start walking, MPL spotted, tapped up, trying to counter smoke, but Cypher's AK leans in first and foremost with the entry combining with Cirque. Captain Kirker behind the big box, Molotov forcing him out to fight with a kill, with a double, with a triple that does get denied by Hampus. 3 on 3, but he's bought his teammates a chance. They're charging in real quick. Cirque's caught back by Alex. Hampus, close quarters, his spray good for one, Vladimir with another, and Hampus edges out his own triple sequence to finally break the backs of bait and set Bleed up on map, match, and group stage points.
Oh, what a round. MPL gets nothing out there from Donut. That's such a good hold for the big box from Captain Kirker. And in a 3v3, they come out from CT quickly. They deal with Cirque, but Hampus gets up so much damage. We are seeing pure individual X Factor across the 3 maps in this series.
The fragging IGL frags away and leads by example against Bait. 3 rounds to close it out. 3 rounds in a row required for the Ukrainians, and Alex is feeling the pressure. He's the solo defender, but he stands his ground because this is ancient land. And Farben and Cypher have fallen the same. Now backup has arrived. Bait have fended off the execution.
And they try and go in for the quicker B maneuver, but they have to cancel. They've got no other option. Oh, this was the round to close. This was the one where the weaponry's at an all-time low. Captain Kirk on a 5-7, low amounts of nades. Bleeds. It actually could just be a save. They might look at this and say, do you know what? It's just not winnable.
That looks like it. Back towards spawn. Bomb deep in the bomb site and everything. Alex has had a round. He's been quiet in this final map. Only 9 kills found by him. 2 of which came in that one. But man alive, when man needs to step up, he does exactly that. Bates continue to find whatever they can to keep their lifelines. This one feels like it's going all the way.
It was the right call for me. I mean, they know limitations with the buy, so we can't expect a huge amount of anti-rush util. They are prioritizing a very default-heavy game on this T side, and then the round to try and win it, you go in for the B-pop. You try a bit of an adaptation, you try and catch maybe Bait going aggressive mid and just being caught off guard by it. But Alex has just a superb round. And there was hardly any B defenders. He was the only way that even if a 1-for-1 trade went down, I still don't think it would have been enough for Bait.
One out of 3. Bleed. Once again, quick into lane, not quick into the execution, not going to rush it yet. Orpa Circus posted towards long. CT's posted in a cave.
It could be that Cirque just holds the long crunch and they just walk contact, because they just don't have nades to work with.
CT's happy to suppress them with that. Orp has backed off. No one's watching long now. 3rd man to join the B defense. Bleed do catch one, extending Alex down to the hands of Laden.
It's a key kill, because Cypher's now been able to get himself into cave. They're going to be split here, and it is one defender. It is Essential as the only player on B.
He's had some mad moments in this series, though. The 2 1 versus 2s in overtime on that last map. Now potentially a 2 versus 5 for him and MPL on the defense to try and hold it together. this map up to overtime here on Ancient. Kills found the both of those guys. They swing out towards that K position. Vladen takes one back. Essential is known as Farvan's the Eagle spams away. Galil sprays away, but Captain Karka does not get what's required to hold the bomb site defense. Bleed with patience have forced this one out, and Head Trick faced upon by Sub. Low P for him. PT50 taps, but Farvan's the Eagle taps one better. Straight to the head. A 13-10 for Bleed as at long last they close out Ancient and make it a 2-1 series that puts them in the playoffs.
And for Bleed, they deserve this victory, Jay. They were able to win 8 rounds in a row at one point, and they were 11-4 up. Yeah, okay, there were some struggles to close. It did take them a little while, but when you have those kind of scorelines, when you have that favoritism, you know it's going to happen. You know that you're, in the end, going to be victorious.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the differential was way too staunch, unfortunately, for the Bait side. And even though they held on, they really held on, right? They did some great work. You were saying towards the tail end of that round streak on the CT side that things were really starting to look like a choke from Bleed. And really, they kind of were. But as you mentioned, it only takes 1 or 2 rounds. And for Bleed, they got those 2 rounds that they needed. And that's all she wrote for that one. The rematch unsuccessfully taken by Bait. Bleed continue to surge ahead in the rivalry and surge ahead to the playoffs.
And now I'm kind of shaping this up with Bleed making the playoffs of thinking, do you know, we could see a Bait versus Nemega, and that would actually be really cool, because that was the game that I was hoping to see in the last rest tournament of that CIS derby, and we actually could see it, because most likely Nemega's going to beat Mouse NXT.
Yeah, I have to say that that's a very tasty little matchup, honestly. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one will play out. Obviously, it'll come down to Nemega to be able to pull that off, and I imagine that Bait should be able to beat Alliance just like they did during the opening game. I mean, it's just that Swedish side hasn't convinced me all that much, so it does feel like that logic dictates that to be the case. Whether there's any revenge or any surprises, I guess we'll have to find out in the next couple of days, because those matches still are yet to play out. But in my eyes, Dwayne, there's a lot of positivity for the Bleed side in terms of getting the win on the board, but as you mentioned at one point, a lot of positivity for Bait, because it feels like this team is forming together. So I'm excited to see how well they'll continue on. I'm excited to see how tomorrow's matches are going to go down. We move on to Group C and D's elimination games. Sinners versus Sangul, Zero Tenacity versus Paravision, One Win versus Eklot, Nemega versus Mouse.
I'm actually quite keen for the Zero Tenacity Paravision game. Paravision have turned a bit of a quarter since bringing Belchnot back into the team. They actually look like they're playing some good CS. And Zero Tenacity have really surprised me over the last handful of weeks. Even the Mouse NXT guys, I think that maybe they're hitting a little bit of a slump because they're playing so much at the moment. That's a really important game, because that's going up against the absolute kings of Nemega.
Yeah, we've talked about how the grind mentality is often what we see from the tier 2 teams, and they oftentimes do work, but maybe some burnout will be affecting the academy players. So maybe easing off a little bit might be a good strategy for the here and for the near future. But in the here and now, obviously a tough task for Mouse NXT. I'm going to be very excited to see how that match plays out, though, because Nemega, I want to try and make another grand final run, right? They won it last time. They could still win it this time.
And they did not get challenged very much at all. And similar to Bleed, this is a Bleed side that have now gone 3 tournaments back-to-back where they haven't dropped a game in groups. They've got top seed into the group, and that helps the playoff campaign. It helps you get a good draw. It helps you go on for those deeper runs. So for Nemega, same as Bleed, they'll be looking to top the group.
Indeed. Well, plenty of interesting things to go forward in our 4 best of 3s for tomorrow's proceedings. But for today, we are all done on the Rest European Series. So we bid you adieu for tonight. Make sure you're tuning back in at 11 a.m. CEST for our first match between Sinners and Sangul. But until that point, we'll make sure that you come back and join us for the Rest European Series.
Changing quickly. Sector clear. Copy. Sector clear. Copy. Shoot it.
The world is changing, but one thing remains the same: victories with 1xBet.